what's going on? It's Ben here. I'm back again today doing another video, and the subject of today's video is going to be on the Brooklyn Nets. Yes, the Brooklyn Nets, a team that since the beginning of July has remained relatively quiet because since then they got DeAndre Jordan, Kevin Durant, and Kyrie Irving. But since that time, they haven't really done much notable. And yes, that sounds like a sort of an oxymoron because that is a plethora of huge moves. But the Brooklyn Nets are back in the news right now because reports are coming out that they are considering signing Carmelo Anthony. Yes, Carmelo Anthony, the man who has been seemingly shunned by the NBA. Nobody really wants him, it seems like. Nobody is considering signing him, but apparently, because of his close connections with Kyrie Irving and Durant, who I didn't know that Carmelo was close with, but apparently he is, the Nets are deeply considering signing Carmelo Anthony. Also, the position that he plays, small forward, power forward, is much more thin on the Nets right now because they don't have Durant because he will likely be out for the entire season. So today I'm going to talk about basically why I would and would not like this trade for the Nets. But first off, I want to talk about why I wouldn't like it and then more go to the optimistic side of why I would like it at the end of the video. So starting off why I would not like it. Um, with Durant out for this whole year, I feel like signing Carmelo Anthony and putting him on the roster, he's basically equal in talent, or you could argue better than everybody on the roster besides Kyrie with an injured Durant. Like he could, you could an arg. Okay, how do I phrase this? An argument could be made that he's better than Dinwiddie, that he's better than LeVert, that he's better than Joe Harris, that he is about equal to DeAndre Jordan, uh, that he's about equal to Jared Allen. But yeah, you could make the argument that on a team without Durant and only Kyrie, that Carmelo Anthony would be the second scoring option on the team. And that's really, in my opinion, not what Carmelo Anthony should be for this team. And I think this all comes to a head because Durant wouldn't be there. If Durant were there, I feel like the pecking order would be much more clear, and the team itself could establish a much more clear pecking order. But without Durant, you're sort of looking for additional offensive production. And I don't know that LeVert or Dinwiddie could be the guys to give you 20 points a night. And that's where I'm afraid Carmelo would be like demanding the ball and asking for it, and they wouldn't really want that. And then eventually Carmelo would be cut because they're not really satisfied with his production because he's being an inefficient volume scorer and uh, things of that variety, that nature of him just like kind of demanding the ball more than he should be. So that's something that I would be worried about if I were the Nets signing Carmelo with an injured Durant, is that he's going to want to start over Taurean Prince or Joe Harris or whoever they put in his way. Um, he also doesn't really fit this team's nature. I read or heard somewhere that last year the Nets were the fifth highest three-point shooting team in the league. And Carmelo can shoot a three from time to time, but he really does not like to shoot threes. He likes his mid-range shots a lot. So from that perspective, I'm not super jacked about Carmelo joining the Nets. But that's really actually all I want to cover on Carmelo being a negative force on this Nets team. I would like to more spend my time talking about how he could be a really positive force on this Nets team if they have Durant in place. So let's say that Durant is healthy the year after this one, and they still have Carmelo Anthony, and he's still relatively healthy. Your basic starting lineup would be something like Kyrie Irving, then likely Caris LeVert at shooting guard. You'd probably have Joe Harris at small forward, Durant at power forward, and then DeAndre Jordan at center, with then a bench consisting of Spencer Dinwiddie, Taurean Prince, Carmelo, and Jarrett Allen. If you give me that team, I would love that team. That has a super deep bench between all those guys that they've got between and you could also do a bunch of switchability too. You could have LeVert come off the bench, Taurean Prince slide into small forward, and Joe Harris slide up to shooting guard. You could have a bunch of different things. You could have Spencer Dinwiddie start with Kyrie because I think Spencer Dinwiddie's like 6'6", so he could easily play shooting guard. You could have him start at shooting guard. You could have LeVert at small forward. You could have Durant and DeAndre Jordan then. You could have just a bunch of different combinations. LeVert, Torian Prince, Durant as the 2, 3, and the 4. You could have, you could have Carmelo in at the 4, Durant at the 3, and any of the guys between LeVert and Joe Harris and Dinwiddie at the 2. Basically, the only thing that would be necessarily set in this lineup is Kyrie, and I think probably DeAndre Jordan would be playing the center, starting center. Maybe they decide to start Jarrett Allen at center over DeAndre Jordan. A bunch of people keep talking about how DeAndre Jordan has fallen off. I know he's regressed a bit and his athleticism has slowed a bit, but he's still an above average NBA player in my opinion. And I think he still has value on an NBA roster and is still worthy of being a starter in the league. So I don't know where all this slander of DeAndre Jordan has come from, but I still think he has definite value on a team. But what I would be really excited about from an offensive standpoint is this team's death lineup if they were to get Carmelo Anthony with a healthy Durant, because I think that the death lineup would be as follows. You could have a potential lineup with Kyrie at the 1, Dinwiddie at the 2, LeVert at the 3, Carmelo at the 4, and Durant at the 5. And I think that would be a lineup where any dude on the court at a given time could give you fits offensively. You've got Kyrie, who on a given night's probably on this team going to average around 24 points per game. You've got LeVert and Dinwiddie, who are probably each going to average about 15. Durant's going to average 25 to 28, and Melo, I think, let's say they play him 25 minutes a night, maybe 20 to 25 minutes a night. I think he would be averaging around 12 points per game. But that would just be a really solid group right there. And then on the bench at that time, you'd have like Jarrett Allen, DeAndre Jordan, Torian Prince, and Joe Harris. But yeah, that would be a great death lineup. And I have always advocated Durant should play a lot more small ball center. The Warriors had more of Draymond playing small ball center just because he's like a bigger dude in general. He's got a bigger body. But I think that Durant being a 7-footer and being like a small forward skill set in a 7-foot body, he should be playing way more small ball center. He's a decent rebounder. He can get like 8 rebounds a game when he's playing small forward. If you were playing small ball center, he could be getting 9 to 10, honestly. And I don't know why he isn't getting that many. Yeah, but I would love this team with Melo if they have a healthy Durant, because then I think the pecking order would be much more clear. And without Durant there to kind of establish the culture a little bit, I think that Carmelo would look around and say, okay, I get that Kyrie's the number 1 option on this team, but this year without Durant here, I could easily be the number 2, and the team could just evolve a little bit from what their potential would be. So that's my final take on this. If Durant is healthy, I like this move, but if Durant is not healthy and if Carmelo wants to start immediately, I don't like this move really, because I feel like it'd be more of a disruptor, um like maybe he was on the Rockets, rather than being a helpful addition. So there you go, guys. That's all I have to say about that. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Feel free to leave your comments and thoughts on Carmelo joining the Nets below, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.